Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it is your first time here. My name is Jess. Today I'm going to be setting my autumn TBR and I'm going to do it a little bit differently to the way that I have done previous seasonal TBRs, in that I haven't yet chosen the books for my TBR. Normally I pick a selection, I look up what they're about, and then I sit here and I talk to you about the books. As you'll have seen from a very recent vlog that I did, if you watched it, I apparently am no longer very good at understanding the synopsis of books. I got it wrong, majorly wrong, twice with two very well-known books just recently. And also in terms of my summer TBR, I just did terribly. I think I read a grand total of 4 of the books that I had picked out, and there were a couple of different reasons for it. If you watched my summer wrap up, you'll know that my summer months just ended up being really chaotic, which had an impact on my reading. But I just think that maybe I hadn't picked the right kind of books either. I am at my heart a mood reader. It does impact what I want to read, my enjoyment of books, and I haven't actually read many 5-star books this year either, which all added in is leading towards my approach for this TBR, which is that I'm sitting here having only got 3 of the books from my summer TBR that I want to roll on, but not really knowing what else I feel like pulling off my shelf. So we're going to go on a little bit of a journey together now. So in terms of the 3 that I'm keeping, we have Still Life by Sarah Winman, which is World War II historical fiction set primarily in Italy. She says, I'm saying all of these really confidently, but yeah, really could be about anything. We have Death in the East by Abir Mukherjee. These are detective mystery thrillers set in the 1920s in India. This is the 4th book in this series, and thoroughly enjoying the development of the characters and the stories in this, so I did want to pick that one up. And then, despite the fact that I am something of a wuss, I have kept on the Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse. I do think that there is something about the autumn months which really lend themselves to psychological thrillers, despite the fact that it gets dark early and I may or may not be able to read these books when it's dark. We'll see. So keeping this one on. This is set in an eerie hotel in the Swiss Alps, which has been converted from a sanatorium, and people go for a engagement party and then various things begin to happen. So these are the 3 that I'm rolling forwards. In terms of thrillers, I probably do want to add on 1 or 2 more. They're very easy to read, although I don't often tend to rate them more than 3 stars, and we are kind of trying to look for 5 stars here, I think. I do want to add a couple on just because, as I say, they're perfect for this time of year, and also they do tend to be quite quick and easy reads. So I'm gonna go see if I can find any that are jumping out at me. Right, I didn't do too well with the thrillers. I do have quite a few on my shelves, but just none that really grabbed my attention, bar The Dinner Guest by B.P. Walter. I've picked this up, but actually it's really reminding me of a book called The Book Club, which I think I read last year, in that we've basically got 4 people at a book club, including someone who is a stranger, and something is going to happen at this book club, which is really similar to the synopsis of The Book Club, which was basically that a random person moved to a village and suddenly knew everybody's secrets. So 4 people walked into the dining room that night. One would never leave. Matthew the perfect husband, Titus the perfect son, Charlie the perfect illusion, Rachel the perfect stranger. I don't know, it's reminding me of that book, which I thought was so, but actually I do want to give it a go. I have pulled it off my shelves, so yeah, I'm gonna add this one to the list. And then in terms of like dark-ish thrillers, I guess, I did grab Bellman and Black by Diane Setterfield. Now, we're actually reading Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield for my book club's September book, which is a reread for me. Diane Setterfield is an all-time favourite author of mine. I absolutely loved The 13th Tale. I really enjoyed Once Upon a River. Not going to talk too much about that in case anyone from the book club is watching, but this one kind of gives me dark thriller historical fiction vibes. So a boy takes aim at a rook with his catapult. A man weighed down by tragedy has a drunken conversation in a graveyard with a man who may or may not exist. A curious new shop opens in the heart of London, the first mourning emporium, providing everything from coffins to umbrellas. So yeah, give me kind of dark-ish vibes, maybe with a thriller element, maybe not, might be misreading the synopsis. Definitely wouldn't be the first time, obviously hoping that's going to be dark and atmospheric. So happy to add that one to the list, but that does put me in mind of maybe some more dark historical fiction. I don't think I've got any of Laura Purcell's books currently unread on my shelves, but that's maybe what I want to look for next, so give me a moment. Okay, that was a bit of a bust. There weren't really any books on my shelves that ticked those boxes for me, other than The Doll Factory by Elizabeth McGlynn, which fits that sort of gothic Victorian age, but it just wasn't grabbing me in the way that I wanted, so probably going to park that for now. I might have some of those books on my Kindle. I have to go away and have a look and have a bit of a think. I do think if you've not read Laura Purcell or anything by her, her books are perfect for this time of year, so I would highly recommend that. Quite disappointed that I don't have another one. I definitely thought that I did, but I've obviously read it. So anyway, whilst I was thinking about the fact that I didn't have that type of historical fiction, then I started thinking about books that I do like, and one of my favourite books, favourite types of books, which I've not really read a whole lot of recently, is gritty fantasy. This for me is probably where my 5-star reads are going to lie, because thinking about the likes of Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which is one of my all-time favourite books, I love that type of fantasy. I love getting lost, and I just think that rainy, cold, miserable days when you light a candle, curl up under a blanket, have a cup of tea, just lend themselves so perfectly to getting lost in that type of world. So I moved on to that particular type of book, and I've got two here which actually both do happen to be the start of, I think both are trilogies, maybe one of them is a series. So the wisdom of this, I'm not really sure, because I do have many other unfinished fantasy series that I should probably prioritize, but you know, the mind, the heart wants what they want. So the first one is The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. This is a book which has been compared countless times to Six of Crows, I think because we have a very similar setup in that a band of strangers with various different skills are brought together in order to go and obtain an object. So very high space, very character driven, very similar to Six of Crows, and one that I'm really excited to hopefully get to. Whether I read one or whether I read both of these, I'm not really sure. We'll see how we go, but yeah, this is one that I have been looking forward to for a very long time, so I'm adding it on. And then the other one that I picked up was The Lies of Loc Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is a series which my husband James has read and raved about and nagged me to read countless times. Not as much as he mithers me about Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, but pretty close actually. So this I think would fit the bill because we have our morally grey main character. So Loc Lamora steals from the rich but does not give to the poor, but I think something is happening in the world where this is set that's going to test his loyalties, and perhaps Loc will turn out to be a better person than we are first led to believe. So yeah, adding both of these on, and we'll obviously have to see how we get on. And then I do have, let me grab my phone, I do have a couple of audiobooks that I would like to get to that I have saved on Scribd. I use Scribd for my audiobooks as well as my library's app. My library's not great with audiobooks. I do try to support my library and I always have a look at what they've got in, but in terms of audiobooks it's usually a little bit sparse, whereas Scribd tends to be okay. It's not brilliant, but it tends to be okay. So at the moment I did start listening to, and I would like to finish this actually, The Inheritance of Orchidia Divina. If I can do this where you can see it, that will be great, won't it? Don't know if you can see that. So not too far into that. I'm 13 chapters in and I'm really enjoying that, so I would like to carry on with that. And then I do have, I think, a couple of options which might be good for this time of year. I've got Dark Earth by Rebecca Stott. You can see that. I also have Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, which I might save for a different video challenge that I'm thinking of doing, but I have seen that recommended so many times. I do really want to get to that. And then the only other one that would probably fit the bill for that kind of thrillery autumn book is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. You see my ring light there. So there is that one as well. So I don't listen to a huge amount of audiobooks actually. It tends to just be when I'm going backwards and forwards in the car to and from work, but would like to try and get to at least one, if not a couple of those if I can. And then finally, I've got two books which are newer purchases for me, but ones which I'm really looking forward to and I would like to prioritise. So first up we have Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sequel to King of Scars, which is a spin-off series about one of the characters from the Grisha trilogy and Six of Crows and set within the same world. I have been waiting for the paperback of this to come out for absolutely ages. Very much looking forward to picking this up and carrying on with this series, but honestly the size of this book, it's just huge. But yeah, very excited to have this. When I saw that it was finally out in paperback, I had to get a copy because just Leigh Bardugo is queen. That's all I have to say on that matter. And then I have The Lincoln Highway by Immortals. Again, Immortals is an author that I love. I think you might be getting the impression in terms of the authors that I'm picking up that I am desperately hunting for that 5-star read. We've got Diane Setterfield, we've got Leigh Bardugo, and now we've got Immortals. Obviously A Gentleman in Moscow was a 5-star read for me. Rules of Civility, which I read earlier in the year, was a 4.5 for me, and as a result I have incredibly high hopes for this one. So this is set in the 50s. We've got two brothers who are going on a road trip to find their long lost mother, and there's something about Immortals' writing style which just really captivates me, so really looking forward to this one as well. And I think that is it in terms of the books that I'm going to add to my autumn TBR. Really excited for the majority of, in fact really excited for all of them, but think that a couple of them may have the potential to be 5-star reads, which would be great. Obviously I'm also going to have my book club's picks for September, October and November. As I said, Once Upon a River is the book for September. I think we're going to try and read a psychological thriller for October, and then no idea what we will do in November. Obviously I'll have those 3 books, although I don't know what 2 of them are. And then I will be continuing on with doing my Smash the TBR challenges as well. I've got a few of those lined up. I am reading more books than have appeared here. Obviously can't talk too much about what they will be, but you'll see those in due course. So yeah, that is it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Do let me know what you are planning to read in autumn. I always love to have more bookish chat with you, or let me know any recommendations for perfect autumn fall reads as well. I would love to add some to my list. Hopefully I will do better with these books than I did with my summer TBR. We will see. But as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you're all keeping safe and well. Take care, and I'll see you soon.